with Motion versus the Wraiths. Two fairly equal teams. Wraiths actually, as the lower seed, do have a higher number of wins, sitting there at 12-6, as opposed to Motion's 10-8 record. But they just managed to lose out on the divisional end of things in their own respective divisions. So they managed to barely sneak into playoffs at the 6th seed. However, I would not say that the Wraiths are necessarily an underdog in this matchup. They both of these teams have some very good players on them, and I know you were talking about that as well. If you want to give us a little bit of information into that.
Yeah. But yeah, before the Wraiths, absolutely not sneaking in because they do have the toughest division in Challenger, actually, with merely on Ascension, of course, the number 1 seed, and Raptors shortly behind them. But yeah, I mean, if we look at the Wraiths roster here, definitely some standout players. Excuse me. We do have Regret, all-star caliber player for many seasons. We all know and love the man. And Moxon and Jarhead, the GM, going to be on the race side of things. But Motion, we saw Motion previously on stream a few weeks ago. I was casting that matchup. I was very impressed with Hayden and Graveyard's mechanics. However, the rotation with Smegalodon was a little suspect at times, so we'll have to see if the mechanics prevail over the race, because really the only standout player for race mechanically has been Regret.
I'd have to agree, and well, if you do only have one player, I mean, that's a pretty good player to have on your side, I've got to say. Regret, we've seen him on stream plenty of times. We've seen him pop off, and I would say that Moxon is a bit of a sleeper himself. Playing against him myself, I've seen him pull off some pretty good mechanics himself. When the Wraiths are on point, I feel like they can be a really good team, even going up against a team like Motion. I think it'll probably come down to which of these teams is more consistent on the day, which, if either of these teams, I don't think any of these players were at Worlds. I know if I was playing today, I would be mad rusty. Yeah. But I think both of these teams have been grinding. So with that said, before we get into this one, who you got in this matchup?
You know, as the former GM for the Graveyard Shift, I would be inclined to vote the Wraiths. Drax, former player of mine as well. But, you know, I think potentially the upset pick here, I'm going to go with Motion. I liked what I saw out of them last time. And, you know, I don't really have a record. You know, we'll go 4-2.
4-2. All right. I'd like to see it. A strong start. Hopefully not a sweep. But as we kick things off here, an air dribble over the defender. Hayden will be the first to score, already putting up Motion here in this game one.
And again, the mechanics I was referring to from Hayden and Graveyard, you know, not the cleanest air dribble of sorts, but he got enough touches to get it over the final defender there and getting it started off early for Motion.
And you can't really ask for a better start if you are Motion. We know these guys are contenders. The top 3 seem secured in Challenger, but there have been teams stepping up and putting that question to a little bit of fruition, asking, is there really only 3 teams, or could almost any team in this playoff race win it? It looks like that might be the answer, but as we continue here, Race finding a little bit of counterplay. Drax waiting across for this one, tries to pinch it middle, won't quite be able to make a play happen, and that's actually a pass towards the center. Hayden just narrowly missing a beautiful top left corner shot. Already, we're seeing a lot of opportunities for Motion as Gravy trying to keep this one in circulation. Hayden taking the sky once again, gets a little bit away from him, but he'll still recover, make it back to the ball. Already, I want to say that we're seeing a slightly clear edge in mechanics from Motion. I'm not sure if that's just because Ray's taking a little bit of time to warm up, but right now, I mean, it's Motion with all the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. As another mistouch coming out from the race, and, you know, Regret, like I said, he's the only one with some star caliber mechanics here, and he's getting a good air dribble out of defense, and they're going to need him to be the forefront of the offense for this team. But as far as the first minute and a half is concerned, it has been all of Motion here, but only 1 goal to show for so far, as, oh my god, one going straight off the crossbar, and that's 2 opportunities that have just missed their mark, and Wraiths have to be counting their lucky stars at this point, but plenty of time to work with.
MVP defensively so far will be that top left corner of the crossbar, keeping out 2 of these Motion shots, absolutely pelting. There's no way that you would be able to react in time to save those. So far, it seems like Wraiths have been the ones to allow these opportunities to come through. They've been giving clear shots as here comes another one. This time Moxon will be setting a net, and the shot's lacking a little bit in power, but from that distance as a double touch not come into play, just narrowly missing it. Moxon going up for this one as well, gets beat to the ball by Hayden, who might have a follow. Almost was able to get another follow-up touch, but the defense now for the race, sitting back a little bit, play extremely defensively, not letting these shots come through. And you have to feel Bagels, if they keep playing this defensively, I mean, it's only a matter of time until Motion gets a good enough shot that is going to break through that defense, even if the players are in net.
Yeah, as a good defensive demo comes out, but still the pressure raining on, but the accuracy proving to be an issue for Motion again if they want to find an insurance goal. But still, the race, they don't want to play defense. It's just that the Motion offenders are not letting them. Finally, an opportunity as a mistouch comes out from the final defender from Motion, and you have to feel like he should have come up with this touch.
And Regret, I mean, he had almost no boost there. Using up the last bit of it, seemed like the defender there did overestimate how much play he would be able to get out of that shot. I mean, he didn't really have anything that threatening to go off of, but clearly the respect being shown for Regret, understandably, as the defender just pre-jumped a little bit off target. Now we will have ourselves a tie game. Race, even though they have had minimal pressure, managing to find their way back into the series, trying to gain an advantage now. This one was lofted into the middle, but dealt with handily by Motion's defense. Another one going high, and now we're seeing demos come out. Both teams getting more physical, trying to create space in order to push the plays forward. But this one's just going to be open. Hayden and Moxon will have to rush back quickly. He thought about going for that far boost, it looked like, but realized at the last second he would have to play a bit of defense. Now a double commit coming out from Motion. Not looking quite as clean as they were in the opening few minutes. Race might have a chance here as Moxon pitches this one center. This one will go high. Regret up for the double touch, but he gets bumped away. Nothing will come of it just yet, but we're seeing a revamped Race really ramping up the pressure here, Bagels.
Yeah, and like you said, the bump's really coming out as net somewhat open, but a huge defensive bump coming out from Moxon again to stop out Graveyard right there. And the bumps have definitely helped out the Race on the defensive side of things, and a lot of offensive demos coming out from Regret too, which I didn't really know he had that in his toolbox. Didn't really consider him much of a offensive player, a physical player like that. But it is helping them stave off this Motion offense, which does have 12 shots to the Race too. But as far as we're concerned, it's a 1-1 game, but for no longer as Hayden takes it to the top left, this time finding the mark.
And eventually, with that many shots, eventually you're going to break through. Hayden with a beautiful air dribble to the top left corner. And one thing I was going to say before this was that Motion haven't really been creative with their offense, kind of just hitting the ball at a waiting Race in the back of their net. They haven't been able to generate much, but now they might be able to generate something on the other side of the field. 10 seconds left. It's on the Race to try and find something quickly. Only one goal to tie it up, but Motion has only allowed one in so far, and they will be able to keep on the pressure. Gravy going up for the shot, and it will hit the ground. That one, even though it was a close game, it really felt like Motion had control pretty much the entire way through.
Absolutely. Motion absolutely dominated that game. And again, it came out with the mechanics again. We saw the air dribble over the last defender for the first goal, air dribble over the last defender for the second goal. And the first one I can kind of understand. It was an awkward position for that last man. But the second one, there was two people off in the corner, and Drax was last back. I don't know what the boost situation was like for him, but somebody has got to jump for that ball, and we saw the pressure. I mean, 15 shots to 4. They got 2 shots there for the Race at the end. But, I mean, when the offensive prowess is there for Motion, we got to be sending up somebody pre-jump. We need pre-jump Jaegers in this lobby to stop out these boys on Motion.
And to me personally, I don't know if you'd agree, but it seems like they're a little bit nervous. And I don't know if that's because they got scored on so quickly and realized that Motion was such a force to be reckoned with. I mean, like you said, they scored the exact same goal twice. It felt like the first time, it was 20 seconds into the game. They hadn't really quite figured out how they were going to play around Motion. But in my opinion, it seemed like the second one was just a result of the Race opting for a defensive strategy of sitting in their net, waiting for the ball to come to them. And once Motion figured out how to get that air dribble around them, They didn't really look like they were going to lose the rest of the game, even though they did take a while to score. Either way, heading into game number 2 here, we will have to see how the motion defense, or excuse me, how the race defense will be able to counteract the pressure that motion is generating. Only had a few shots, but a very high scoring percentage, although it was off more of a botched play on uh, motion side of things than a brilliancy from the race, I would say, as another shot sent on net, the double commit there, but the pinch will go perfectly in Race's favor. Not quite in the net, but they will at least be able to grab some boost, rotate back, and I'm not sure where Drax was going. That one going to slip past the entire Race defense. Motion up once again.
Yeah, and one thing to know, Gravy has changed his name from Gravy to Gravy is Awesome. We'll have to see if that affects his mentality throughout the rest of the series. But yeah, I mean, Drax, not quite sure if he thought the last man back was himself or one of his teammates, but either way, he could have even just turned and gotten the touch on that ball, let alone pre-flip to try and stop out that opportunity. But again, either way, a mistake coming out to allow Motion to score. And Motion, though they may have had 15 shots, but they did have to work for it, and you don't want to be giving up the easy ones. There's Drax finding the clearance on this one.
And with how few opportunities the Rays have had to break out of their offense and try to create something for their own, I really feel like that goal, going down one so early yet again, is really crucial. They have to try to find a way to bounce back. And with it seems like it's just miscommunication. So, not necessarily the easiest problem to fix, but if you can just calm down a little bit and communicate slightly better, you might be able to fix it, as this one. Another air dribble attempt from Gravy coming through as the ball lingers around the half of the race. The common theme we've seen throughout this series, even throughout the first game, is Hayden up for this one. Regret will barely be able to make the save and send it away. But when you're dealing with miscommunication, I mean, how do you try to remedy that, Bagels? How do you calm down and help your team kind of talk to each other and work your way through the problems when you're just kind of sending too many players or not having someone back?
I think that might be more of that's hard to do in an in-game adaptation. As a big whiff comes out, but not able to quite be converted on. But it's very hard to do that in the middle of the series, especially let alone in the middle of the game. So if it is an issue for this Race team, they are going to have to find it in between the series as a missed double tap from the motion offense. But they just got to go back to square one and try and just calm down on the comms. Just make it simple. Nothing too complicated, and just let each other know where you are. And not only let each other know where you are, but you have to let them know early and often. If you don't let each other know where you are early enough, it could be too little too late. And that's how a lot of these double commits happen, especially in the playoff setting where the nerves are a factor, but motion are going to keep this train rolling, as Gravy with 6 shots is now 1 for 6. And the offense for motion is not stopping, as it is 8-2, actually 9-2.
And I mean, motion is just drilling these one after another. Gravy summoning the power of CJ for that one as he slots an open net home, but really it was the immense pressure from motion that led up to that. They're taking so many shots. The clears from the race just not good enough. They're not making the most of their opportunities and now find themselves down 2. And with how the series has been going, with how little offense they've been able to generate, you have to feel like they have to get more aggressive if they want any chance coming back in this one. But nevertheless, ball stays at home in Wraiths half, off the backboard. Once again, Gravy up for this one, going for the double touch. He might have it, but Moxon able to get a clutch save, prevent his team down from going down even further. With a minute 30 left, it really feels like it's on the Wraiths to step up here, try to make something happen. Gravy with an air dribble, trying to get it past. Shut down quickly by Regret. Now I like that there. They saw the air dribble coming through. They weren't going to just sit back and let it happen once again. Even if he misses there, makes the defender's job so much easier. But still, the Race fighting back on defense. This ball sent up over the midfield might be able to be something, but another just beautiful back pass. And the synergy from motion, I mean, the Race are having miscommunications, but motion looks like they're synergizing exceptionally well right now.
Yeah, and the last time I did see them on stream, the rotation and double commits were a factor, but against this Race team, which isn't proving to be much of a nuisance for them, they can feel free to do whatever they want and wherever they want on the field until Race proves to them, shows to them that they are meant to be here. They are meant to be expanding their journey through this playoffs. But if the Wraiths continue to play like this, it very well could be a 1, 2, 3 goal affair for this whole series unless they get some more demos going. It almost worked in game 1, but they got to get more physical. They can rely on Regret as Drax getting some bumps here, but the shot off target, but it's actually a passing play into Moxon's hands, and that's what I'm talking about. The bumps came out. The net did look like it was kind of open, but hey, the passing play.
And there is the offense that we want to see from the Wraiths. Every member of the team getting involved in that play. Drax with a critical role, bumping the defender into the back of the net. He is not able to get anywhere near that save, and Regret opting for the pass rather than the shot, a wise decision, as Moxon had a much more open target to that bottom right corner. Now we are seeing the Wraiths generating offense, finally getting shots on net. They are able to convert, but a little too late in this game too. However, it could be a good sign for things to come. If they can keep the momentum going, then it is possible that they could find their way back into the series.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, too little, too late, but like you said as well, with Regret jumping up for that ball, that air dribble play. I mean, we've already seen them come out for the flip resets, the double taps, and everything else like that, and they just are not able to stop them from converting on these solo plays. But eventually, halfway through this game, they realized that. So good opportunity for them to come into game 3. Might be a good time for them to take the timeout if they are aware of that. Maybe, again, to fix the communication, the rotational issues coming out from the race. Because, again, they just are not converting on the offensive side of things, sitting at 5 shots. And I'm pretty sure Motion had 12-plus shots again in that game number 2. And, something's got to give, and if the Wraiths don't stop out Gravy and Hayden, I mean, it's going to be a full-on sweep from Motion.
And it is looking like that's the direction it's trending, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, if you look at the saves for the Wraiths, they have 8 saves. So Motion, not every single one of their shots is quality, and there have been some amazing saves from the Wraiths to keep out golden opportunities for Motion. They just have to try and find a way to get into the game in a situation where they don't have to make 8 saves in one game, because that is not a sustainable play style. And the Wraiths, we are seeing, suffer from that, as even though these have been close games, they've been keeping Motion at bay for so long. There's only so long you can, as this one coming through, and actually the double whiff on the goal line, the pre-jump not working out, but a brilliant setup there from Hayden with the flip reset.
Yeah, he goes for the early hit after the flip. And again, that was good. They did send somebody early, but, it was such a slow lofter that and the final defender wasn't back in time off of that opening kickoff. And, ultimately just a standout play again coming out from the mechanics. And it's a clear-cut difference between these two teams on the mechanical prowesses, and Motion is absolutely taking that in hand. So going back to how the Wraiths scored that standout goal, was the passes. They need to work out a defense together, because these solo transitions are not going to work out. And if they can get a few more bumps off, get Regret on the ball like he is here, going for another pass to Moxon, looking for the left side, but Hayden will send it away. If they can set Regret up with some boost, maybe go for some solo plays as well, because he can pull off the flip resets and the double taps as well. It's just a matter if he's put in those spots.
Good setup there from Gravy, and it's looking real reminiscent of the first 2 games, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and Drax a little slow on the trigger there. He's seen the defender there on the sidewall in front of his own net, and he just didn't go. Again, 3rd time that Drax has been last back, and again, not quite sure on the boost count, but it just looks like he's not confident in his positioning to be stopping out these plays from the Motion offense. And again, they just got to go quicker, even if they're uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, you got to try and make the offense uncomfortable on the other side as well, and put them in spots where they're forcing themselves to take shots that they know they're not going to hit. Because again, they just look so confident going for these balls. And again, the double commit comes out. The early and often call was not made, and Motion is going to continue to keep the train rolling.
Wraiths succumbing once again to the pressure of Motion. It just seems to be almost insurmountable in their own heads. There must be some form of panic setting in, because This is a shot that we've seen in the past that they clear away easily, but sending 2 defenders once again, there's no one in net for the follow-up, and obviously that is just so important. It can be tough to realize in the moment, but even if the clear was slightly better, might not have led to a goal. Either way, Motion will go up 3 goals, and Wraiths nothing to show for it in this game 3 here. Trying to get something back. Gravy going for the sidewall, can't get the follow-up, and now 2 win for Motion. They're looking confident, they're feeling confident, and if there was ever a time for the Wraiths to try and put a stop to this confidence, try to capitalize off of maybe that confidence turning into arrogance, it would be right now. Is Regret trying to hit this one down, but can't quite find contact. Still a shot will be coming through. Moxon opting to hit off the backboard instead. The ball has stayed in Motion's half for longer than usual, as now it will go out, and Moxon just not in a position to really cover the net. A 4th one here for Motion.
And great play coming out from Hayden to just stay glued to this ball. And, a lot of times players will flip into a ball thinking that they can get more power on it, but that's not always the case. A lot of times if you just double jump, you can get more power on the ball. And that's exactly what Hayden did. In fact, he just got a single jump off of that landing, and that actually sped up the play as Megalodon getting a great save off the side to stop any hopes of Wraiths coming back into this net open. But Megalodon not able to find the ball to the middle. And I mean, at this point, 2 minutes is a lot of time to work with, but the Wraiths haven't shown me anything proving that they are going to be the victors here. Again, the physical plays coming out, though, and finally, the 2 times they've gone for bumps, they have converted. One off that passing play in the previous game, but Drax proving to be the physical player so far in the series, but they just need more than that.
They absolutely do, and the situation is dire for the Wraiths here, but it is not impossible to regain. As you said, whenever they're going for bumps, they look so good. But Megalodon off the kickoff, I'm not entirely sure what happened here. I need that quick replay, as I was still... It looks like Regret just waited to go for the ball, and immediately, all of their efforts are neutralized as Motion immediately regains the 4-goal lead.
It looks like they may have bumped each other off the kickoff. Not quite sure of the reasoning for that or what was going on there, but either way, again, finding themselves in a hole. This pass to Moxon, looking to take it to the dribble, finding the left side, but Hayden going to send it off to the side as well, and Regret trying to push it through, but still, just every time this ball is floating in front of the Motion net, nothing really threatening coming out, and the only time they've scored has been off of these bumps, and I'm waiting for a Regret solo play, another passing play. It might be here, Regret to Moxon, and it will find the net there. And, passes and bumps. That's all they need at the moment, but 3 goals down still.
And they have now tied their total goals for the series, but they will need to triple their previous total goals for the series if they want to win this one. Looks like going down 0-3 is imminent, but we have seen stranger things happen. It does seem like Motion playing much more carelessly now, as they feel like they have secured this game, but it is not necessarily over. If the Wraiths can get another quick one, they are very close to being, and it's still another brilliant save, but Hayden gets the dunk, and he will put them up 4 goals once again.
Hayden with the hat trick here, just muscling his way through. A little calculated there to get the second 50 through, but either way, you put yourselves in these spots, and you can make the defense panic. And now down by 4 goals, not a good spot to be in the race. Like you said, going to be down 3-0 in the series. But that being said, even though Motion has looked really great thus far, this is how they looked the last time they were on stream, pulling off a lot of mechanical highlight plays, really not having any issues, but we've seen a few double commits, and the last time they were on stream, they ended up getting reverse swept. And that cockiness that you mentioned did come out, but somehow I feel like they have remedied that mistake here in this series, and a reverse sweep in a best of 5, a lot easier to do than a best of 7, as a bit of a garbage time goal coming out for the race, but still, if they can get something off the kickoff, maybe, but still, I don't know. We might be looking to game 4.
Well, it would have to be a miracle, as Wraiths will get one back. Now, lessening the scoreline to 3 goals out of their favor. However, that is still a gargantuan task to ask from them against this Motion roster, which does look quite good. I will say you are correct. Their mechanics are impeccable, but their rotations do look a little bit suspicious. And hold on a second, folks. The Wraiths are going to score another one. That's a goal every 10 seconds in the last two scored. Is it possible? Maybe, just maybe.
It could be, but so far the thing that's been working out for the race has been this regret Moxon connection on these infield passes. And a lot of the times, if rotation is a problem for teams, these infield passes can be good. But Gravy standing firm in the net there, not wanting to give up 2 more goals in the final seconds. The clock will be rolling down, and surely at this point the game will be in favor of Motion as Hayden with the pre-jump. Almost it will go through. No, off the crossbar, trying to find the follow-up off of a Doomsy there. And again, highlight reel plays almost coming out, but still the double commits have been an issue for Motion. And I don't want to be too confident heading into game number 4, but still, I mean, they look so good as Drax will be calling for the timeout here for the race. And Race actually showing up and putting up a really good amount of shots. 11 shots. They actually outshot Motion for the first time in the whole series, 11-9.
And that is interesting to see. They got more pressure than they've had for the entire rest of the series combined in this game, certainly. And we could see it come through with them getting those goals, catching Motion off beat. But still, Motion scoring 6 on 9 attempts. In the beginning of the game, it just looked like Race, I don't know exactly what happened to them. Their defense fell completely apart. They weren't able to battle back from that. At the same time, though, Motion, as we've seen, looks susceptible and looks like their weaknesses can be exploited. We've seen that Mox and Regret duo. When they're passing to each other, I mean, they've had at least 3 plays where the pass, specifically from Regret to Moxon, has just been right on his nose, and he's sniping it home. If they can get that accuracy up whilst keeping the ball out of their own net, like if they can, I have full confidence that if Race can pick up their offense and limit Motion to 2 goals per game, like they did in the first 2 games, I think that Race can score 3 goals at least to win it. But that has to come with the defense playing as well as it did in the beginning, as well as the offense playing as well as it did in this game. So it's a lot to ask for, but the reverse sweep, it is possible.
Anything is possible in Rocket League, except for a G2 victory on land. Sorry, everybody. Sorry for this is going to be the first time that we've had an in-person cast with anybody in Nemesis. So sorry if things were a little scuffed earlier on, but we're trying to make things good here. But yes, the race, with the timeout here, hopefully they can figure out the rotational issues on defense, because it looks like on the offensive side of things, they do have things under order. They know where they need to be on offense, the passing plays coming out, the bumps from Drax coming out. But it's just defense. Even if they're sending somebody to stop out these solo plays, they're just not quick enough. The speed difference is clear for these two teams. That Motion is clearly in control of the game. Even though Race outshot them in that last game, I didn't feel like they were in control of the game. It felt like it was an all Motion affair, but maybe it was just because the Race made so many mistakes.
And that was a theme. As we've had an interesting development, it does look like Drax will be subbing out, and we are getting Jarhead as a replacement on the pitch. He's joining up the match now. I'm curious to see how this will affect the roster. I haven't seen too much from Jarhead. I don't know if you have any intel on him, but clearly the Race feel like something needs to change, and it's hard to disagree when Motion looks so comfortable. But as we said before, Motion's overconfidence could be their downfall, and maybe, just maybe, Jarhead is the key to victory that they've been looking for.
And almost straight off the kickoff, Jarhead almost able to muscle his way through and find a goal. But, if you're going to sub, or even that timeout actually is, oh my goodness, off of the crossbar, they got to go early, but Hayden actually not in the position. Straight back out to Smuggler, he's putting another shot on. But, on that timeout, like we saw, for anybody watching Worlds, I'm much more of a fan of taking the timeout when you're down 2-0. Even 1 down in the series before momentum can start to become a factor. But down 3-0, taking the timeout and subbing somebody out, I feel like if you're going to sub somebody out, at least do it if you're down 2-0 in the series, because it might be too late to make a change. That being said, Motion has scored once, if not twice, in the opening minute here, and they've been held scoreless so far, and Jarhead almost scoring as well. Could be the start of something for them.
potentially.
Oh,
but
no, it's 1 minute on the dot.
they won't score in the first 20 seconds, but you can be sure that they'll score in the first minute. Hayden with the backboard fakes the double out for Gravy to a free shot. And I mean, another crisp play coming off of this very obviously mechanically heavy motion roster. It's hard to disagree that their offense has immense pressure on the Wraiths defense. And, well, like you said, they did score within the first 20 seconds for games 1 through 3. So potentially this is a good sign as the ball will go off the backboard. The follow-up not there, though. Jarhead a little bit slow to try and capitalize. It's Regret not able to make the defensive touch, and Gravy will get a free shot. Not threatening at all as Moxon sends it away. Excuse me. And Wraiths will be able to settle down the play. Now Regret getting it past one, but Hayden with the dribble gets it past a Wraiths player on the other side of things. They're looking to build their way to a 2-0 lead as Hayden can't make contact quite. And the Wraiths, they have looked a little bit more effective on defense, but we're still waiting to see that same offensive fire that we saw in the last half of Game 3.
Yeah, and the Wraiths have not been putting Regret in a position to succeed. And again, more defense coming out. Great save from Jarhead, who's just subbing in. A little bit tardy on this ball as Regret last back. Going to get the ball placed behind him, but safely enough into his other corner. Jarhead going to clear it out. But, I mean, I just need to see Regret be put in a good spot. But, maybe they don't need to be if Jarhead can pinch it out from his own side of the field.
Well, I'm not sure where Regret was, but Jarhead was getting the best 50-50 of his life as that one slams right into the net of Motion. And a tie game with half the game left, will be a good sign for the Wraiths, who have struggled to find equal footing past the first minute of the game. And another shot coming through. Hayden will immediately neutralize that goal. Once again, Motion going up one.
But, I mean, you have to feel like Jarhead's just got to get a little bit quicker to this ball, and Regret trying to race back, not expecting the ball to just be a clean beat. I'm not even sure if Jarhead found contact on that challenge. And, I mean, just an unfortunate play just after scoring for them, and a little bit dangerous off the kickoff as well. But, this has been the least that Motion has scored, but still they find themselves in control past one, may just be past two, as Hayden going to turn in the midfield, going straight for the shot, had a passing option open, but the Wraiths are just continued to be under duress here as Moxon with 0 boost. Regret looking for the follow-up out, looking for some sort of solo play that we've been waiting for the whole series. Jarhead up for the shot. He's going to put it on, but saved away from Smegalodon.
That's a great shot there, but an even better save. Motion showing that they are not all offense. They have looked solid, and that's been another one of the key factors for this team, not letting the Wraiths get any free shots in. That one even was extremely threatening, but dealt with quite handily as another opportunity on net. The follow-up will be good, and Moxon ties up the game, breathing life into this Wraiths roster.
And Jarhead almost able to slip it through, but another great save from Gravy. And Moxon a little bit lucky with the post bounce to be able to slip that one through, but either way, tie game from them. And, no real slack on Drax here, but, I really like the way that the Wraiths look here in this game. I have to wonder if just Jarhead wasn't available, or if they wanted to go into this game with Drax playing, and just shortly off the kickoff, a bump play comes out in midair, and Motion did not relinquish the lead for long.
And Jarhead just a little bit too early to that play. A nice bump on the defender. I think that was a Motion player bumping, a little bit cluttered in the goalie cam. But Motion retaking this lead. Actually, it might be able to swing back in the other direction. Megalodon barely getting back in time. And the Wraiths have to do it again. They've looked better than ever in this Game 4. They've looked like they can really at least take a game in this series. They're facing a reverse sweep. That is not a mental battle. That is easy. But they are bringing it to this Motion roster. Still down a goal, but plenty of opportunities. Surely you have to feel like they will have. Regret coming through with this one, but it's just sent directly to Gravy off the backboard. Moxon barely gets the touch, and a crucial one at that. This ball lingering in the corner, but Jarhead will be able to clear it out. Megalodon ready for it. Not sitting on net. Feels like almost every time Motion touches the ball, it goes towards the net of the Wraiths, but this time It will not, as Jarhead getting it through, and now 37 seconds left, and Wraiths still need a goal. You have to feel like if they can't tie this series up, I mean, well, we're not seeing a game number 5, and it just feels almost incorrect. As with this roster, I mean, Jarhead looks really good on the field right now.
Yeah, and again, wondering why they didn't put him in earlier. But again, decision making or not, it's gone for the passes. Jarhead looking to put one in with the final seconds, but they got to get something. They got to get a bump. One more final passing play. Otherwise, Motion going to get the clean sweep.
Clean sweep might be incoming. This ball needs to stay up, and it has stayed up, but Hayden actually doesn't hit it down, hits it up. Jarhead needs to get a touch here, but Hayden will be the one to bring it through. This ball going to go, and a final note. We will end on the same note as every other game of the series. Megalodon, he's been a standout player, but honestly, all 3 of these players have been standout in a clean sweep for Motion in convincing fashion.
I mean, that was just, utter dominance really from Motion here in this series. And this is what I saw out of them the last time they were on stream, except this time they didn't get super overconfident. Still a little bit of double commits and rotational issues that could be a problem for them heading into the semifinals. But I mean, at least as far as Challenger League is concerned, sans maybe the Drake's Season 2, Season 3 era, as far as the series goes, that may be the highest average shots I've ever seen coming out from a Challenger League team. It looked like at least 12-plus shots every game, except for the one game that they lost, but they still put up 9 shots, which is no slouch. And, when you're going up against an offense of that caliber, you're not going to get a lot done. And unfortunately, the Wraiths did not get a lot done, and they didn't take a single game off of this Motion team.
It actually, I mean, looking at the stats, Jarhead here had a pretty good game 4. He got one of their 2 goals, an assist, and even a save there on the board with 6 shots to his net. He was generating a lot of offense. Rocket League is a fickle game. Sometimes you're feeling it, sometimes you're not. There's no way to know if you are making the correct move. Jarhead might have just been the move for the race today, but unfortunately, they will not be able to pull off a single game. Although I will say, individually, I still rate the race players. I think Regret is a phenomenal player, Moxon as well, and clearly Jarhead showed that he had some potential. They just couldn't really show up as a team today, it seemed. And going up against a team that good with Motion, it seemed like it was inevitable. As it seems, we will have an interview here. This will be interesting, as I will be the only one able to hear it.
I'll leave you to that.
But who do we have in here?
Hayden.
It is Hayden. How you doing, Hayden? That was a very convincing 4-game sweep. How are you feeling after that one?
I'm feeling great.
Well, I actually can't hear it.
Oh, well. Let's see here.
Some technical difficulties. It's okay. It happens in the RLCS at the most hype moments, so you guys can forgive us, right? Either way, trying to figure out how speakers work. Maybe I'll go watch a how-to video after this, and we'll never have this issue again.
How about now?
But I think we do have audio now. Hayden, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, 1 second. We are going to figure this out. I swear, we will figure it out if it is the last thing I do.
Wait.
It was unprecedented. Indeed. What is wrong with... Oh, your headphones died!
Oh.
Okay. Wait.
Oh, man.
Okay. Will it pick him up on the mic if we put it through the...
I don't know.
Okay.
We might have to get a pregame interview. I gotta let my headset charge for the next series.
We might have to
so
forgo
sorry.
the interview for now. Extremely sorry, folks. I swear the stream is never this scuffed. Hayden, I cannot hear you, but I just want to say you guys did a phenomenal job. and it was a very well. I don't want to say hype because you guys just kind of, you guys just kind of dominated. But it was nice to see a team that mechanical popping off, having some good plays in there. So thank you for that. Hopefully we'll get an interview at some point. But for now, I think we will have to let you go. Congratulations once again on making it into the semifinals.
All right. Thank you.
All right. And with that said, and absolutely no technical difficulties whatsoever in this place we call the Nemesis Gaming League, the pinnacle of production, we will be taking a short break before we come back for our second challenger matchup of the night, actually, which will be Flame versus Bishops. And this one was a sweep, but knocking on wood, I do think that one should be a fairly good matchup. Flame obviously coming in hot, one of the second best record, or tied for the second. Well, actually, tied for the best record with my own team in Ascension, and they've been popping off. Bishops, a bit of a sleeper team, but they also have some potential to do wondrous things. With that said, any final thoughts on the matchup, Bagels?
I mean, I've seen Motion on stream twice now, and similar to how Venom was in the season that they won, I'm just glued to the screen when I'm watching this Motion team play, and I think they could make a run all the way to the grand finals, and I can't wait to cast their semifinal matchup as well.
Yeah, I am absolutely hyped for that, and we will be seeing them in the future. So don't you worry, guys. I am curious to see how they match up against the other top teams. But for now, that will be all. We will be heading to a short break before coming back to the Challenger League once again. Thanks for sticking around, guys, and we'll catch you very soon.